All I'm doing is the voice record.
Hello.
I guess we're good, huh?
We're good.
You don't have to live in pain anymore. This is the podcast where you'll learn the stories, tips, and tools to get back to your path to health. I'm Dr. J. Dudum, and this is Back at It with Dr. Decompression.
Hi, I'm Dr. J.D. Dudum. Welcome back to the podcast, Back at It with Dr. Decompression. Episode 3. I'm going to tell you about my story, why we're here. Before I get into it, if you didn't get a chance to listen to our previous episode, amazing guest, Dr. Kamran Jahangiri, chiropractor down in San Diego Chiropractic Neurology. Check him out. You can find it in the previous episodes where we dive into decompression. Today, we're going to dive into my story and why I'm here and really how I built the clinic and why I do what I do. So let's jump into it. I've always wanted to help people. Ever since I was 10, I've always wanted to do something medical, something where people benefit from it. I started out about 10 years old. I was very overweight. Now, you could think, hey, everyone's kind of chubbier. I was in the 99th percentile of obesity. And so the doctor had a conversation with my mom, myself, and he's like, hey, JD, if you don't do something, you're gonna die earlier than you should. And that was really the lightning when the light bulb in my head went off to take health seriously. My mom and I, we made salads. Geez, I was living on rice wine vinegar and red wine vinegar and olive oil dressings. And I lost weight and I got into fitness and exercising. And that's when my passion for health really grew. I was into that. I wanted to help people. I was big into basketball. Basketball was my passion in life. I loved basketball. Day and night, I'm dribbling, shooting. That's what I love to do. I still love to play. Fortunately, with my back injuries, I can still play, which is awesome. And I had a few injuries. I was about 16 years old. I had 2 concussions. Basketball, not many people think about concussions or brain injuries. I was going up for layups and just got boom, just hit in the head, blacked out for about 10 seconds. This happened twice in the span of a month. After that, for the next 6 months of my life, some of the darkest days of my life when I was 16, every day I had migraines. Every day I had loud noises in my head. There was no hope. I was just kind of in a dungeon. And I had tried everything medically known possible. We had CT scans, we had MRIs, we had medications, we had anything you could do. Nothing was working. 6 months go by. Another passion of mine was art. I love to be artistic. I love to draw. I love to color. I was in art class and we're drawing, freehand drawing. And I'll never forget the day. My hand started twitching. And because we just switched to new medication. When you switch new medications, you don't know how you're going to respond. 16 years old, 4th medication, and my arm started twitching. Call my mom. We got to do something different. And everyone, the point of this podcast is if it's not working, you need to do something different. And that's what you're going to learn and what we're going to go over. Someone had recommended a chiropractor. I didn't know how to say chiropractor, let alone spell it or what they do. And we trusted a referral, which is how a lot of our patients find us as well as referrals. After they had noticed that when I got hit in the head, my neck jolted, which makes sense. They found that the 2 bones in my neck, they weren't lined up quite right. And that was causing some suffocation or irritation on the nerves. I swear, within 4 weeks, my life was back. I was playing basketball. I was happy. I've always been a happy child or person. And 16 years old, I wanted to be a chiropractor. I wanted to help people get out of their own way like I was when I was 16. That's what I wanted in my life. Went to Cal Poly for my undergraduate degree. I studied nutrition, dating back to when I was 10 with food, diet. I was 18. I was putting people on nutrition plans. I was putting the teachers on nutrition plans. I was putting them on cooking plans. We were in the hospital setting. Since I was 18, I've been helping people get past their frustrations from a clinical setting and understanding the psychology of pain and being stuck, not achieving your goals, the mental burden that plays on you. And it brings you down. I learned that since I was 18. Fast forward to my chiropractic education. I went to Life West Chiropractic College. It's in Hayward, California. Amazing education. Get out of college, 3 years, open up my own practice. I've been practicing chiropractic for my private practice for 13 years. Helping people with all sorts of conditions, to ankle pain to migraines. That's what I did for 10 years. The first 10 years of my practice, I just helped people. Anyone that wanted help, I would try to help them, and I was pretty good at it. Helped a lot of people. During that process, I started to suffer newer injuries. So working on people every day, helping them, I started getting back pain. I'd wake up with back pain. It would go off and on. I knew how to treat back pain. I would fix it. It would be gone. It would keep coming back. It was 3.5 years ago. It was about April of 2020. Okay, we're fast forwarding 10 years of my career. April of 2020, if anyone in the world was around, that's when COVID hit. Practice slowed down. I was seeing 180 people a week before COVID. We went down to about 80, 90 visits, about 50%. We dropped 50%. Everyone in the neighborhood let's take that out. I dropped about 50% in volume. Everyone, you're trying to figure out, how do you exercise? How do you stretch? How do you, whatever, everything was changing. For the next 5 to 6 weeks, as I was working, my back started hurting and the pain was increasing. What really alarmed me was when not only the back pain was there, the pain was when I would wake up, when I would work, that pain was starting to go down my leg. We'll talk about this throughout the podcast. I'm really excited to have this podcast. I want to share all this information. When the pain goes down your leg, it sends alarms that there's something bigger possibly going on. That's one of the signs that you should pay attention to too. And I swear, for 6 weeks, my leg was on fire. And if you've had a herniated disc or you've had back pain, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I wanted to kick my leg through the door. That's how bad it was. And it's similar to a lot of patients that we see every day, that just unrelenting back pain and leg pain. So very vividly, similar to when I was 16 with my migraines, when my arm was shaking, I remember I now have 2 children. I had one at the time, Presley, my daughter, and my wife, Jessie, was pregnant with Jameson, our son. We're on a family walk. I was so angry that day. My leg hurt so bad, and I was just kind of a dick. Like, you're just mean because the pain is so bad. And if you've had pain, you can relate. Like, the pain takes over your brain and you lose sympathy, you lose joy, you lose a lot of things because it overcomes everything. That's how pain works. It overcomes the brain. And I knew at that point, I'm like, something's got to change. I got to figure this out. I got an MRI, which is, again, one of the things of the podcast we want to talk about. This is Dr. Dudum with Back at It with Dr. Decompression podcast. And MRIs are a great sign to see if there's a herniated disc. I had a 5 millimeter herniated disc. That's about the size, think of the size of like your pinky nail. So I have a tissue like that size in my spinal cord that's touching or abutting the nerve, the sciatic nerve. So we're going to talk about this later, is what's a herniation, we'll talk about that. Mine was actually touching the nerve. That's why it's unrelenting. So if you're having unrelenting nerve pain, there's a good chance that that disc bulge, you may have one, is on and contacting the nerve. Mine was. After 6 weeks of trying chiropractic care, trying cold laser therapy, trying corrective exercises, physical therapy, nothing that I knew in my 10 years of clinical work was helping. 10%? Maybe? Not changing my life, not changing my attitude. I reached a colleague. He specialized in non-surgical spinal decompression. I was 35 at the time. There was no way I was getting a cortisone shot. Again, if you listen to the podcast episode 2 with Dr. Jahangiri, he mentions that cortisone shots over time degrade supporting tissues and it leads to problems down the road. So we want to avoid that if we can, because long term, those aren't great. I'm too young to have surgery. There's got to be another option. There's got to be a better option. I researched about non-surgical spinal decompression. I bought one of the tables. The staff and I, they're awesome. They helped me. They trained with me. Within 5 weeks, I'm not kidding, 5 weeks, my life was back. My nerve pain had gone completely away. My back pain was completely gone. I was mind blown because everything I had done for 10 years, again, I had a very thriving practice. I helped so many people. But all of that training wasn't able to touch a certain demographics, which was myself and everyone else with a significant disc bulge. From that day forward, my goal and my mission and passion, which is now, is to help people with disc bulges that's debilitating, that takes over their life so they can't be with their family. Just like I was. 3 years ago, we've grown the clinic to, we see about 300 patients per week, all with back pain, all disc pain, arm pain, numbness, anything you can think of relating to back, neck, arms, and legs, we work on. We've adapted systems. I'm using the same exact systems that helps me. I'm using those systems to help other people. Non-surgical spinal decompression, cold laser, corrective exercises. We use called a power plate. Again, what Dr. Jahangiri talked about in episode 2. It vibrates 50 revolutions per second, and it helps stabilize the big, but more importantly, the really, really small muscles in the spine that support the discs when you're moving so you don't get any more disc bulges. We put this whole program together, and now every day, the team and I, we help people with disc bulges. That's what I do, and that's why on this podcast, I'm so passionate about getting content, getting information and tips and things so you, or if anyone you know, I don't just mean stuck. I mean like it's brutal. Like hopeless is, I'm talking about hopeless. Because that's how I was. And what I've learned, unfortunately, is that there's so many people out there suffering with this same issue. And my drive is to help every single person just be that little beacon of light for where I was. So that's my story. And I really hope that this podcast inspires you or someone you know to just take a step forward and try to find relief. Maybe it's with our office. Maybe it's with another office that we can relocate you with. Or just a tip that helps you sleep better. The truth is, almost every patient I see, you don't need spinal surgery. There's hope without injections and without spinal surgery or spinal fusion. So I want to thank you for watching this episode. If you haven't subscribed to our podcast, please do for more content. And we look forward to sharing more content as we unveil sciatica. That's episode 4. I'm Dr. JD Dudum. This is Back at It with Dr. Decompression. Thanks for watching.